everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to play The Winter Wedding, and our visual novel found on itch.io. Let's begin. Okay, we're going to do with body, she, her, confirm. Type your username or type her name, log in. 10 days left until your wedding. Winter. Not exactly your favorite season, though you always found it smoothing to watch snowflakes slowly fall, evaporate against the warm glass of the window. You were never one of the children eager to rush outside the snowball fights or build a snowman. I was because I still am because we don't get much snow where I live. So when your nanny said your overprotective parents won't allow it because your frail health, you didn't feel particularly disappointed. Now there's no one left to enforce such rules. And that's one of the reasons winter is awful for you. Your father was never much interested in winter sports, but you know he couldn't resist your mother's persistence. The persistence ultimately cost them their lives when the ice on the frozen lake slowly gave away beneath them while they skated. By the time they were pulled from the water, it was too late for anything to be done. So hypothermia and probably drowning too. As you touched their gravestones, even through your gloves, you could feel the freezing cold of the marble. It already has been 5 years since you lost them. Mother, father, I miss you so much. If only there were a way to stop the accident, to turn back time. But alas, it's not possible. But that's impossible. Anyway, I brought you some beautiful flowers. You carefully placed the white lilies on the grave, speckled here and there with patches of snow. The harsh snowflakes sting your face, fraying to bury the flowers completely under the white blanket before long. Feeling the need to leave soon, you cast one glance at the grave. And in the blink of an eye, the white lilies are no longer white, but soaked in vivid crimson blood, seeping from the grave itself. Are family vampires, by chance? What? Your heartbeat quickens, and your breath forms a white mist that clouds your vision. Even so, the red is so intense, it overwhelms you, your head spinning, your knees buckling. Just as you're about to collapse, a strong arm catches you by your shoulder. Turning your gaze, you find Tristan standing beside you. Tristan's over love interest, your butler. His scientific eyes shift between you and the grave, as though trying to discern the source of your distress. There's no trace of alarm or confusion in his demeanor. Frankly, you glance back at the grave. The lilies are white as when you left them. No trace of blood remains. We're seeing things. Are you right, my lady? Is something the matter? I'm fine, Tristan. Just a little dizzy, that's all. So then, a fleeting concussion. I can't exactly say it's the first time. You were never fully recovered since losing your family. You must have been affected by the cold. For a moment, you can't help but feel uneasy at the way his gaze sharpens, as if he's aware of what you're thinking. Now it's not the time to meet with their doctor who promised to cure you with their sedatives. That's not a good doctor, though. Thankfully, the familiar steadiness in his voice soon puts you at ease. I think we can stay with him instead, it'll be fine. Shall we head back to the carriage, my lady? Please hold on to me tightly. With Tristan's help, you make your way to the eerie, silent cemetery, to the carriage waiting for you. Returning to the manor, the roads may be icy, drive carefully. The coachman nods quickly and takes a seat. Everyone seems eager to leave this place. Everyone's up to you. Your attention's momentarily distressed by the stark light of the gloves covering Tristan's outstretched hand as he helps you step into the carriage. White lilies were your mother's favorite. You recall how she always picked the most beautiful one from every bouquet and tucked it into your hair with a smile. But after the concussion, perhaps it's best to choose a different flower for your wedding bouquet. You don't want to falter at the altar. That rhymes. And brace yourself in front of everyone. My lady, if you could hurry. I think I dropped my handkerchief at the grave. Fridging a flustered expression, you press your hand against your bag. The handkerchief is right there. If we leave a message with the caretaker, it should reach the manor within a few days. But it was a gift from Oscar. You notice a momentary pause in Tristan's expression, unaccustomed as he is to hearing you mention your fiance's name so openly. I'll fetch it immediately, my lady. Please wait in the car. The car. It's like the carriage or the car. No. Let's go get the car. I'd like to see my parents one last time. Tristan's questioning gaze meets yours, but your air seems sentimental than paranoid. Given the thoughtful and caring attitude your parents have always shown towards you, you are certain no one could find you unjust. You know Tristan, known for his calm demeanor and logical approach, isn't exactly pleased with your request. But refusing you is an option. As my lady wishes, if you excuse me. Without waiting for a reply, he adjusts the loosened collar of your coat with a practiced air. Unlike you and the coachman, he seems completely unaffected by the cold. The moments like these, you can't help but wonder if he truly is human. Is he a vampire? Once he finishes, Tristan turns to the coachman. Keep the horses ready. The coachman's silent nod betrays his discontent. But whatever the case, you're certain he'd rather be anywhere than Tristan's place. The sun, violent gust of wind, forces you to cling tightly to Tristan, relying on his strength and warmth as much as you can. When you reach your family's grave, nothing appears out of the ordinary. At first glance, we must move quickly, my lady. The weather's worsened. You know he's more concerned about you than himself. You can't help but silently berate yourself for your impulse decision. Perhaps it really is time to meet with a new doctor. The handkerchief isn't here. Let's go back. Wait a moment, Tristan. What's this flower? Amongst the bouquet of white lilies, you left it on the grave, so easily scattered by the wind. One vibrant red flower stands out. And he pulls it free. As he pulls it free, Tristan's eyes narrow slightly. It appears to be a crimson lily, my lady. The concussion you saw earlier flashes vividly in your mind, sending a shiver down your spine. But what is it doing here? It was likely mixed in by mistake when the bouquet was prepared, my lady. You reached for the crimson lily in his hand and examined it closely. It's identical to the white lily you selected for your family, except its color. Oh, no, I remember the bouquet perfectly. This is impossible. In that case, perhaps it blown here by the wind from under a grave. Look at the flowers on the grave over there are red. Curiosity and determination compelled you to rise on your tippy toes, trying to see the grave Tristan is pointing at. Indeed, a snowy hill. There are red specks. But you're not convinced as Tristan that they're the same flower, or even flowers at all. At the moment, your careless stance catches up to you, and your footstep slips. In desperate attempt to keep from falling, you grab onto Tristan's coat. For the first time, you manage to catch him off guard. Your practically rigid posture wavers, and he leans towards you. You find his face suddenly, staring close to yours. though his lips remain perfectly composed, his golden eyes flicker with an unusual, unreadable glimmer. If it's a porn to you, my lady, I can inspect every grave here, one by one. Your entire body heats with mummification, enough to make your momentary forget the cold. With his help, you manage to regain your balance once more. Now we're gonna go check the grave to see if that flower is from that grave. Check the grave. Not every grave. You know the sheer foolishness. You know this is sheer foolishness. As you press on, I want to check that grave. Tristan's hesitant gaze just between you and the veil. My lady, if you allow it, I'll check the grave myself. There's no need for you to trouble yourself in this weather. I need to see with my own eyes. Stubbornness isn't a trait you're usually known for, yet the firmness in your voice leaves Tristan with little choice. Please, my lady, stay as close to me as possible. The ground might be icy. Nodding quickly, brush off his concerns. Your thoughts are consumed by one thing, the origin of the Crimson Lily. And that's our move. We have to find out. Perhaps that's why, even though you haven't gone far, you fail to notice a fleshy, snow-covered pit right in front of you. It all happens in a fleeting moment, right after you let go of Tristan's arm to adjust your coat. As soon as you step forward, the dry grass barely covering the pit curls under your weight and gives way, and in the blink of an eye, you find yourself in a cold pit. This place, too narrow for a grave, makes it impossible for you to get out on your own. Unfortunately, it doesn't take long for Tristan to rush to your aid and pull you out. However, as you hurry back home in the carriage, the numbing effect of the cold water begins to wear off, and the pain in your leg intensifies to a level you can no longer ignore. The doctors hastily summoned to the manor, informing you that your condition's worse than you thought. There's no choice but to postpone the wedding. Unlike your fiancé and his family who rushed to the mansion upon hearing the bad news, you can't say this little accident has made you particularly unhappy. It makes it perfectly happy. After all, well, the entire household and your fiancé dial on you, eagerly waiting for your recovery. You know, you now have a perfect excuse to spend the snowing winter days confined in your bed. If only it weren't for the pain. Ending 1. Your wedding postponed. So now we're gonna don't check the grave. No, it's not porn. You feel foolish. There's no way you'll truly believe the white lilies you left behind have changed color. And as you take Tristan's offered arm, you feel something new embarrassment mixed with unease. These feelings stay with you until you settle into the carriage, waiting at the entrance of the cemetery. The warmth of the enclosed space offers only slight comfort, especially with Tristan sitting directly across from you. His presence is constant, his sharp eyes ever watchful. You're aware that the situation, traveling alone with a servant, is hardly appropriate for someone like you. But since Tristan's arrival, he's been far from ordinary butler. He's one heck of a butler to the other staff and to you. You haven't been sleeping well lately, my lady. If there's anything besides the upcoming wedding troubling you, please don't hesitate to tell me. Your expression hardens reflexively. Daisy told you this, didn't she? Daisy, your maid, listens to him more than she listens to you, much to your ongoing frustration. I'll address her as soon as we return to the manor. For the first time in what feels like forever, a faint smile crosses Tristan's face. As you wish, my lady. I'll make sure a replacement with all the necessary qualities is arranged properly. That's precisely the problem. You doubt any new maid, no matter how reserved, would defy him. Tristan's too commanding for a servant, and you far too compliant for master. Oh, this is a different type of... Are sure we are not the servant and he's not the master? Still, his flawless management of the estate over the past 5 years has left no room for complaint, even from you. The sound of hooves crunching through snow fills the silence. Wolves. My lady, you ask what was keeping me awake at night. Tristan narrows his eyes slightly. Ah, I see. The howls from the forest near the manor, perhaps. It feels like they're howling louder than ever these nights. I'll arrange for hunters from the nearby village to deal with them, my lady. You needn't concern yourself. I don't want to hurt the wolves. I like the wolves. Thank you. If there truly are all that keeps you up. Your voice rises unintentionally. What do you mean by that, Tristan? Perhaps you should consider postponing the wedding, my lady. Is he trying to tell us not to marry? I only suggest this because winter is particularly hard on your health. Forgive me if I overstepped. Your brow knits together in irritation, yet you can't immediately find the words to refute him. Oscar is a noble alpha, and you're a noble omega. Oh, so we're like in a megaverse. And marrying Oscar isn't above love. It's an obligation, like every other unexpected, unshakable duty in your world. Neither you nor your fiancé truly has a say in this. Postponing the wedding will only temporarily mask this reality. Still, you sense that Tristan's words might be hinting at your passiveness in the situation. Thank you for thinking of me, Tristan, but I'm well enough. Everything should be proceeded as planned. Since you avert your gaze, you can't quite make the expression on Tristan's face. However, the unusual soft tone in his voice proves that he's only thinking of you as a good steward would. You mean a butler? As you wish, my lady. Everything will proceed as it should. As time passes, you hear the eerie creak of iron gates surrounding the state grounds. The sound signals the end of your journey. Descending from the carriage, you clutch your bag tightly. Hidden beneath your handkerchief lies the crimson lily you found at the grave. The dark silhouette of the manor greets you with all its gloom in the middle of the white landscape. Even though it has disturbed you since childhood, you can't deny that over the years it has unintentionally bound you to this place. When your fiancé suppressed his desire to live here after your marriage, enjoying the manor's atmosphere, it was one of the few decisions you made together. Due to its age and size, the manor has never been echoey warm or well lit. Still, as you step inside, the familiar sense of comfort and security relaxes you. Your maid, Daisy, hurries over with the quick steps to help you out of your thick outwear. She looks at you with a warm expression, as if seeking forgiveness for some unspoken guilt. Shall I prepare your bath? You decide to set aside the topic of a new maid for now. Yes, please. As you climb the stairs, you overhear Tristan giving her instructions. Make sure the bath is properly heated. Also bring Cormine tea with honey and lemon. Without a single protest, Daisy bows to him in a manner she clearly accustomed to, and a flicker of the rebellion ignites within you. However, it extinguishes as soon as you step into the corner at the top of the stairs and head to your room. You're too tired to challenge the established order of the manor. It's a fatigue that has been intensifying in recent days, robbing you of restful sleep. It feels as if every step you take tightens invisible chains, weighing you down, forcing you to stop. You try to tell yourself that it's just wedding stress. At least, you don't have more reasonable explanation for that. Not yet. I mean, there might be another. It might be fact that we're just worried. We want to revolt. The expression silence of the impressive silence of the manor fills only with a sound of creaking firewood and distant footsteps. It's suddenly interrupted by the creak of the door. Your eyes quickly find your maid, who has appeared at the entrance. The bath is ready, my lady. Thank you, I'm coming. As you step in the bathroom, the stifling heat envelops you. It's much warmer and more humid than usual. Steam rises from the water in the tub, filling the room with pale glow and fogging the windows at the top of the bathroom. How's the temperature, my lady? You want to ask her to open the window, but the warmth quickly surrounds you, spraying every corner of your body. It's fine. I'm glad the butler mentioned you stayed outside for quite some time. This will do you some good. With Daisy's help, you manage to easily slip out of your clothes. With Daisy's help, the ties of your clothes loosen and fall away. In a short time, a pile of fabric forms at your feet, and you feel the heat directly in your bare skin. Since it's still light outside, I don't think you need many candles. Daisy lights a few candles quickly, then turns to gather the pile of clothes. Would you like me to assist you while you bathe, my lady? Naked and verbal, you express the chill that rises within you and move towards the tub. No need, Daisy, thank you. Don't forget to drink your tea. Closing the door echoes in the room as Daisy departs, slowly lowering your body into the warm water. You sink entirely into the tub. At the moment, the pleasant and refreshing aroma from the side of the tub catches your attention. Don't drink the tea. Since you weren't the one who requested the tea to be prepared at the first place, you ignored the steaming cup. You can't allow Tristan to control you like others. The warmth of the water in the tub relaxes all your muscles, wrapping your body in a sweet lethargy. Sleep develops you, involuntarily and pleasantly close your eyes. When you open your eyes, you have no recollection of how long you drifted off. Judging by the lukewarm water in the tub, it could have been too long. You step up, reaching for a nearby towel to dry off, slipping into your robe before leaving the bathroom. As you walk through the corridor to your room, you know something particular in the silence that surrounds you. A sound somewhere between a growl and a rumble. It reminds you both of an animal breathing and machine operating. Curiosity sparks in you as you head to the end of the hallway, where the growling noises become noticeably louder. You try to guess where in the manor the sounds could be coming from. Descending to the stairs, you notice that no one seems to be around. Where is everyone? Daisy? The mansion is involved in a terrifying sense of abandonment, save for you and the sound of your footsteps echoing through the halls. The wheezing noises seem to concentrate near the staircase leading down to the basement. You never ventured into the underground cellars before. You heard from Daisy that it's filled with rats and multitude of forgotten old items. You also know that Tristan, unlike the previous butler, has an interest in new machines to make work easier, though many of them end up broken and left to rest down there. The staff must be down there now, tending to the new machine under Tristan's orders. Just as you're about to head back to your room, a sudden curiosity takes hold of you. You slowly descend to the mansion's ancient stairs. The dim light makes it hard to see, but you eventually reach a damp and cold space at the bottom. The wheezing grows louder, transforming into a hum that reverberates through the walls. You're no longer sure if the source of this noise is a machine. Is anyone there? Tristan? The shadow around you seems to multiply, but there's no response. Your heartbeat quickens, and your breathing turns ragged, and you decide to abandon this unpleasant curiosity. But it's too late. One of the shadows moves, lunging towards you, but your instincts kick in, and you manage to dodge it. That is until your foot catches on something on the ground. You fall, and a sharp blow to your head happens in an instant. Before your vision fades, one thing becomes clear. The shadows, they're not human. Ending 2, you're reunited with your family. Now we're going to drink the tea. Despite the tart taste filling your mouth with the first steps, you keep drinking. You're amazed at how well Tristan seems to know exactly what you need. Soon, an odd sense of joy fills your mind. It feels as if all the visible chains that weigh you down have snapped one by one. The approaching wedding, the exhaustion of recent days, the wolves howling for the night, the crimson lilies in the cemetery, the snow-filled winter. All of it fades into distant memories in your mind. He's doing something to us. The entire body is enveloped in a sweet lethargy. Sleep closes your eyes with a pleasant inventivity. Oh, no matter what, we're still good sleep. Does that mean you taste peace? You open your eyes again to find yourself still in the bathroom, but you sense something strange even before you see it. At first glance, you only notice the difference in the absence of daylight filtering through the windows above, replaced by shadows cast by the extinguished candles Daisy had lit. You quickly dozed off in the tub. The air is stiffened and hard to gauge how much time has passed, but I could feel the sharp purity of freshness that comes after an untimely, prolonged rest. Wait. Just as you're about to sit up and leave the tub, your gaze falls to the dark shallots by the edge of the tub. Oh, it's a cat. It doesn't take long to realize the shallot isn't actually a large face with a wide, toothy grin leaning against your bathtub. The fear courses through your veins, pumping and drilling into every corner of your body. Oh, it's a dog. The vibration of the voice against the wall is unsettling, yet oddly it comforts you. Extending your arm out of the tub, you begin to stroke the uninvited guest who has been watching you inappropriately. I think it doesn't matter. It just wants head scratches. The creature responds with a The creature responds with a quick, noisy breath from its nose, expressing its delight. What are you doing here, Snow? Snow is one of the few things you love about winter. A few years ago, during an incredibly harsh winter, you followed fate. Pitiful whimpers outside the manor, and found Snow buried in the snow-filled pit, on the verge of freezing. So it's like a dog, distribution service instead of a cat distribution service. Back then, his wet, sparse fur was barely distinguishable from the snow. Now it's grown thick and glossy. And you run your fingers through his fur. You suddenly realize Your hand is wet. Well, we've been in the tub, so of course it's wet. You pull your hand back. You're soaking wet, Snow. Have you been rolling around in the snow again? Oh no, it's gone. The discovery dampens your mood, and you can't help but grumble. How could they let you outside? You can't even count how many times Snow has slipped out of the forest without anyone noticing. Probably has, dog with puppies. If there's one thing you remember clearly, it's warning everyone in manner about this rapidity. Despite his silence, Snow, large eyes remain fixed on you. Don't look at me like that, Snow. The wild wolves in the forest could tear you apart. You might have found one to be cozy with. As you move your hand away from the top's edge, you notice a trail it ways behind. Thick, dark drippets, slowly dissolve the hand paint. And you realize that the substance coating Snow's fur isn't melted snow. Your anger quickly gives way to inner emotion. Snow, I can't believe this. What happened to you? An energetic expression dominates Snow's shadowed face, void of pain. Your gaze instantly shifts from him to yourself. And that's when you realize the truth. The mask marks don't come from Snow. It comes from you. Wait. The tub you've been sitting in is filled with blood. No! Your first scream is filled more with shock than fear. No matter how many times you open and close your eyes, the reality before you doesn't change. Oh, we're having a hallucination. This can't be. How could so much blood come from me? You're absolutely certain you don't feel any pain. Not injured. You need to get out of the tub immediately. But despite the clarity in your mind, your body refused to move, frozen like a corpse. And that is a final blow to your control. Help! Daisy! Snow's sharp teeth suddenly clamped down on your bare arm, igniting a new wave of panic. No, Snow, stop, please! Instead of pain or burning, you feel only pressure, as Snow's powerful jaws tighten around your arm. With surprising strength, he managed to drag you out of the tub. Snow's just rescuing us. Snow, let me go! If you want to help me, get outside and get someone. No matter what you say, you can't stop him. The liquid from the tub spills out onto the floor as you pull out, and you feel a sticky blood entering your body like a ground like glue. Crying, screaming, you have no other option. Please, someone come here. Isn't anyone there? Snow nudges you a few times with his paws before abandoning his efforts. He circles around you in strange patterns, laying out the slow, agonizing lines. The stiffness and coldness enveloping your body. The blood-filled tub, your unheard cries, as Snow's pain howls ignite one singular thought in your mind. As if trying to escape this reality, you let out one final desperate cry. Tristan! 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 Your voice cuts up abruptly. You have no means left to call for help. At the same moment, Snow gives up in his futile struggle and claps helplessly to the floor. In the ensuing silence, you see the shadows in the bathroom multiply. Cold, darkness, silence. It feels like the beginning of eternal sleep. However, everything changes in an instant. The sound of hurried footsteps echoing through the mansion fills your ears, and your heart and senses come alive again. As the footsteps rapidly approach, the door suddenly creaks open with a terrifying screech. My lady, it's me! A shadow glows larger before your eyes, obscuring your vision. As you wait in silent anticipation, the softness of a towel wrapped around your damp skin reaches you. Immediately after, strong arms lift you effortlessly off the ground. Everything fine, my lady? I'm here. Don't be afraid. Though it sounds like a command, his words swiftly slip into your mind, silencing the uncontrolled orchestra of fear inside. Suddenly, you feel the weight of the breaths you're taking. As it stiffens in your body, quickly dissolves, an involuntary ache spreads through your muscles. A warm shiver runs down your spine, from head to toe. What happened here? It's freezing here, my lady. Are you all right? The light from the doorway stings your eyes. Even so, you can make out Daisy standing in the doorway with a lamp in hand, scanning the room in astonishment. The bathtub. The weak sound escapes your parted lips. Hearing you, Tristan turns his gaze to Daisy. Check the bathtub. You see Daisy hesitantly pulling her lamp in the tub without fully understanding what's going on. Oh, all the water has spilled out of the tub, and it's gone cold. Water. The realization unites everything he thought had calmed inside. Calmed inside. This time, you're sure it wasn't a hallucination. No, impossible! Tristan, put me down! Tristan's amber eyes narrow in suspicion. My lady? I said put me down! I'll check the bathtub. Let me go! Your impatient outburst draws unsaid whispers, making you aware of the specters at the doorway. If everyone in the manor could hear you. Why did it take so long to arrive? Deciding to leave the question for later, you focus on the moment. Tristan finally complies, slowly setting you down from his arms. You take timid steps towards the bathtub, determined. Handing your lamp, Daisy murmurs hesitantly. What's the matter, my lady? Did you see a mouse? Knowing her, you firmly direct the lamp light at the bathtub. Even before you do, the faint glimmer reflecting from the floor proves that only water has spilled from the tub. Looking inside confirms the same. The blood that had filled the tub just moments ago. Not even a trace remains. So everything that just happened was nothing more than another isolation. No matter how vivid or terrifying it felt, you refuse to believe it. Tristan's calm but stern voice breaks the silence. They assign anyone to tasks that required standing idly at the door. I wonder if they're causing these oscillations. Am I mistaken? The shadows at the doorway quickly scatter as his tone softens slightly, directed at you. You must have had a nightmare, my lady. I think you're right. Please don't be upset. It must have been caused by a sudden change in temperature. Despite the dim light, you can discern the hardened lines in Tristan's face. Luckily, they're not aimed at you. How could you leave my lady alone in the bathtub for so long? You weren't even aware the fire had gone out. Under Tristan's icy gaze, the poor servant face turns crimson. I just never leave my lady alone under any circumstances. Or you need to find yourself a new place to work. What are you still waiting for? Take her to her room immediately. Help her dry off and get dressed, and make sure she hasn't been hurt. Not wanting to stay a moment longer in an unsafe place, you hurry to leave. Just as you're about to step out of the room, one of the shadows in the corner moves and lunges at you. Oh, it's snowing. You stare at the dog in disbelief, wondering how it managed to stay still and silent in the bathtub till now. The bath until now. Bathroom. Suddenly, Daisy, afraid of unsettling Tristan further, tries to pull Snow away from you. Now's not the time, Snow. Snow's the only one other than Tristan to try to save me. Get away immediately. I'll never listen. It never listens. Bad dog. Wait, Daisy! Grabbing a nearby towel, he crouched down to Snow under Daisy's astonished gaze and started drying its fur. Did Snow go outside while I was away? The question catches Daisy off guard. No, my lady. As Tristan approaches, you see her lower her head in anxiety, unable to say more. He's certain she's hiding something. Still, you don't want to interrogate her in front of Tristan and prolong the tension of the evening. But just then you notice a dark stain in the towel in your hands. With momentary hesitation, you lift your gaze to Tristan, his expression oddly enough reassuring you. At least this time, you're sure it was your imagination. Not now. Snow rests painfully silently again. Snow starts panting silently again, looking at you intensely, as if trying to tell you something. Yet, despite this instant in his large, bright eyes, he can't convey his message, because he's not talking human. Tristan's shadow wings over him, showing him in darkness. Don't worry, my lady. It seems Snow isn't injured. This blood must come from somewhere else. His brow frowns as he turns his gaze to Daisy. I told you countless times not to give him a bloody wild meat, haven't I? You know, it's one of Tristan's rules to tame Snow, who already looks wider than an ordinary dog. Plot twist, Snow is a wolf. Though you believe there isn't a source of savagery in Snow, he never opposed Tristan on this matter, especially since he always claimed Snow was unsuitable for life in the manor. It must have been the kitchen staff that gave it to him. I don't know anything. Truly, my lady, Daisy's pleading gaze is hard to ignore. Can this be discussed later? I'm cold. Tristan hesitates to be free before stepping back in a rush. Of course, forgive me for keeping you waiting, my lady. You can rest assured that such confusion will never happen in the manor again. As you retreat to your room, Daisy carefully dries and dresses you, but your thoughts remain a tangled mess. You only barely follow her words as she continues, her gaze filled with gratitude, near approaching you. Believe me, my lady, I came as soon as I heard your voice. I just wanted to tidy up your belongings while you were bathing. I noticed one of your perfumes was almost empty, so I went downstairs to send a servant to order a new one. You know the wedding is approaching, and everything must be perfect. Daisy gently rubs ointment over a few bruises on your back and legs caused by your fall on the bathroom's hard floor. As for the strong bite Snow left in your arm, there isn't a single mark. You could have guessed Snow wouldn't do such a thing, now peacefully curled up and sleeping near the roaring fireplace. Catching your gaze on the dog, Daisy immediately speaks up. I had nothing to do with the bloody meal, my lady. Bloody meal? I mean, the blood on Snow. Maybe he slipped outside and caught a rabbit or something. I'd never go against Tristan's, or rather your orders. You know, as at least in this matter, she isn't lying. Or more precisely, can't lie. Thank you, Daisy. Since Daisy's taking those marks more seriously than usual due to the approaching wedding, you wait for her to finish her work so you could be alone. Afterwards, you try to process everything that happened during the day. It's like, just take it more seriously because we're having a wedding. Would you ignore us if we did nor as if there was a wedding. After all, you need to make a decision eventually. First, the blood-stained lilies in the cemetery, then blood-filled bathtub. They're quite different from the concussions you experienced before. That's why finding a solution doesn't seem as easy as you hoped. If the crimson lily in the cemetery was really dragged from another grave, Snow just stole raw meat from the kitchen. And Snow just stole raw meat from the kitchen. Oh, what am I even thinking? Of course, that must be what happened. You try to push these nonsensical thoughts aside and focus on the upcoming wedding and the details demanding your attention, but before long, sleep overtakes you. In the middle of the night, you slip out from beneath your heavy blanket, unsure what woken you. You approach the window beside your bed and peer outside. Who's out? Who's right there? The dark forest staring where the high garden walls in is cloaked in the eerie stillness and silence tonight. None of the wolves howl that fill the recent nights reach your ears now. Stepping away from the window, your gaze returns to your room, warm and brightly lit by the candlelight, a crackling fireplace. Daisy insists on not leaving you alone, sleeps peacefully on the chair by the fireplace, her head resting against its back. I'm gonna say, there's two pillows. You could share my bed. Not in a weird way. Snow curled up as her feet shares the same tranquility. Despite the nightmares you experienced in the bathtub, you desperately need the peaceful sleep you found there. You start thinking of something that could help you achieve it. You consider what might help you, and think of Carmine tea as your best option. At least for now, a hot bath is out of the question. Not wanting to disturb Lily's sleep, you decide to head to the kitchen. Someone there is bound to be awake, preparing for the day ahead, as work in the kitchen starts earlier than the rest of the manor. Wrapping yourself in your robe, you slip quietly into the hallway. A oppressive atmosphere of the manor, combined with the chill and silence of the night, feels overwhelming. You quicken your pace and ascend the stairs and head straight to the kitchen. Despite the lit lamps in the boiling pot and on the stove, the kitchen's empty. Your steps almost instinctively lead you to the other side of the kitchen, to the open door leading to the corridor where the storage rooms are located. In the dark hallway, you easily spot the only door ajar, lights filling through its gap. However, the sound coming from inside moans, perhaps warn you against approaching. The only thing you're certain is that Tristan is there. Approach. You've never been one to intrude in the private lives of your staff. But when it comes to Tristan, curiosity and their emotion you can't place quickly takes a hold of you. Even though you know it's wrong, you can't help yourself. You approach the brightly lit room as quietly as possible to steal a glance through the slightly open door. Tristan stands in the center of the room, directly in the path of the light. However, instead of his usual imposing posture, his body leans towards a man laying on the floor, a servant most likely. You notice the white gloved fingers gripping a whip tightly. Uh-oh, he's one of those. Are you starting to regret your disobedience? Or do you need a harsher punishment? You notice the servant's clothes are dispaved, his face is clearly bruised. For a moment, you forgot to breathe. The servant's sobbing, playing in a way that sounds like a groan. I regret it. I so deeply regret it. I'll never do it again. Never, ever. Please forgive me. Tristan strains up and begins pacing impatiently around the servant. He managed to make out the silhouette of the observers on the other side of the dimly lit room. They remain silent, their trembling breaths the only sound as they try to stay out of Tristan's way. I know your kind well. I don't deserve any of the slightest bit of mercy. Tristan suddenly pauses, lifting his gaze from the servant on the floor to scan the room. A cold, chilling smile spreads across his face, one you've never seen before. Disciplining you requires great patience and punishment. Lucky for you, I have plenty of both. As he finishes speaking, his yellow eyes turn in your direction, and for a moment it feels as though his gaze meets yours. In panic, you step back from the door and retreat a few steps. Your mind races, torn between running away and staying put, but Tristan's furtive voice reaches your ears once more. But tonight is not the night. Your heart pounds with all tension as you make a quick decision and hurry back to the kitchen. You remind yourself that disciplining the staff is part of Tristan's duty as the butler of the manor. Yet, there's something in his demeanor, aggressive, ruthless, savage even, they've never seen in all the 5 years you've known him. Now you no longer question why Daisy's afraid of him and show him such respect, or why she's insisted on staying with you tonight. Your maid, now sleeping in the warmth of her room, obviously, oblivious to everything, is doing the best she can. You feel like you should ignore everything too, at least for now. Heading towards the stairs to return to your room, the sound of footsteps behind you halts you in your tracks. My lady, is something the matter? He's composed a manner starkly contrasts the unsettling scene that you just witnessed, and you swallow nervously. I just wanted some trembling tea to help me sleep, but I can't find anyone in the kitchen. You wonder if he realizes you are watching him. His face portrays nothing, leaving your efforts to read him futile. My lady, for such matters, simply ring the bell in your room. There's no need for you to trouble yourself coming all the way this way. Allow me to prepare your tea and bring it to your room. Very well. When you return to your room, everything is just as you left. Daisy and Snow continue to sleep undisturbed. Unable to contain your restlessness, you sit on the edge of your bed. You try to distract yourself by reading a few lines from the book on your nightstand, hoping to erase the scene from the kitchen pantry from your mind, but it's no use. Your thoughts fixate on the undeniable truth. Tristan is not the person you thought you've known for the past 5 years. Just then, a soft knock on the door startles you. Still, you respond in a calm voice. Come in. Tristan enters with a careful arranged tray and closes the door behind him. His brows frown momentarily as he glances at Daisy, his expression hardening in a way that would surely frighten her if she were awake. But he approaches you, the harshness fades. You sense something different. His usual cold, serious demeanor softens ever so slightly. Your tea, my lady. As you reach for the steaming cup, he moves first, causing you to flinch momentarily. If you allow me, I'll quit for you, so you don't burn yourself. Of course! Oh, the fire just burned. Okay, because I'm not saying her. Tristan brings the cup to his lips, brewing gently to dispense the steam. You can't stop your gaze from drifting to his mouth. Lips rough, firm, yet oddly alluring, capture your attention. It's ready, my lady. Snapping yourself out of your foolish thoughts, you take the cup from him and slip the tea. It's sweeter than the one you had in the bath, though you don't mind. You focus on your attention on the warm tea in your hands, trying to ignore the posing figure standing before you. It's not easy. If the tea doesn't help, I suggest another method to ease your sleepiness. Startled, you met his gaze. What sort of methods? A slow, unfamiliar smile spreads across his face. I think it's best to discuss that after you finish your tea, my lady. A warm shiver courses through you as you take another sip, his intense, deliberate gaze, never leaving you. You try not to act hastily, not wanting to reveal how curious you were about the other method. Finally, you place the empty cup back on the tray. What are the other methods? New CGI. CG. Instead of answering, Tristan leans closer, making your heart race uncontrollably. Before you know it, his face and his natural bright eyes are just inches from yours. You feel the warmth of his breath on your skin. The only slight distance left in his lips to touch yours. But Tristan doesn't close the gap. He's determined to maintains the distance, his voice deeper than usual, brushing against your ears. With your permission. And look. He returns his glove thumb along your bottom lip. He runs his glove thumb along your middle lip, wiping away the wetness you hadn't noticed until now. His driplet gentle touch carries no apparent malice. Still, you can feel your face burning and heart pulling low in your stomach. Whatever you're feeling is wrong. You're engaged. You're going to be married soon. Tristan, as if aware of the whirlwind emotions you're feeling, removes his hand on your face and whispers softly before standing up. I could read to you until you fall asleep. My lady. You try to hide your disappointment, invert your gaze. Thank you, Tristan. I think the tea will be more than enough. Tristan gives a slight nod and heads towards the door to leave. But as he reaches the door, he pauses for a moment and looks back at you one last time. Always at your service, my lady. Whatever and whenever you need. You survived the day, 9 days left. A new day. No matter how long you sleep, you wake up in the same time every morning without exception, and have your breakfast. After all, the rules of the house are so deeply rooted and unshakable that they control even you, the master of the state. Still, that does not change the fact that you need them. You have no idea how things would function without them. When you leave the dining room, you take your place at the writing desk. The letters you need to respond are already waiting for you. In the winter months, the state and its lands are wrapped in an even deeper silence under the weight of the snow. No sound of the heavy door knocker announcing a visitor, no distant rumble of a carriage wheels passing by. The only connection you have to the outside world are these letters. During this season, there are usually so few that reading them every couple of days and delivering the necessary replies to Tristan before noon is simple and routine responsibility. With the orange letter opener passed down from your father, he slides through the envelopes and glances through each contents with the ease of habit without much thought. Catalogs from boutiques in town. Your wardrobe has undergone enough changes due to the wedding. It's like, wait, but just catalogs. We have Sears catalogs here. Hunting invitations from neighboring states. They want me with a weapon. I don't think it'll be a good idea. You never found fox hunting in the cold to be a enjoyable activity. A note from the material relative offering their regrets for being unable to attend the wedding and sending well wishes. This serves as a final confirmation that none of your material relatives, those not too distant to have received invitations, will be present at the ceremony. Given the distance, their recruits to undertake such a journey in winter is understandable. It's alright. We got our Butler's family, right? Our servicer family. Not that it makes much of a difference to you. You merely fulfilled your duty as expected. As a brief update from your lawyer, weighing your instructions regarding a few minor issues relating to the properties. That you can easily leave to Tristan. And a dinner invitation dated today from Red Heart Manor. Like, just dated today. We forgot to respond to it. The Red Heart Manor belongs to your closest neighbors, your fiancé and his family. For the past few months, you have politely declined every invitation you received, citing poor health due to the reason. For a moment, you considered doing the same with this one. After all, the letter states that it's merely a small, intimate dinner. Ink spills from the tip of your pen onto the paper, forming a series of well-rehearsed words, apologies, and their refusal. Just as you're about to finish your letter, you hear a knock on the door and lift your head. Come in. Okay, it's our doggo. Or, I swear it's probably a wolf. Contrary to your expectations, it's not the butler who enters, but your maid, carrying a silver tray followed closely by Snow, who dashes into the room. I brought you tea and some refreshments, my lady. You tried to recall when you made such a request. Probably Tristan. Yet, as you attempt to remember, even the moment before grows hazy in your mind, and you forget why you were writing the letter in front of you in the first place. Seeing the bewilderment in your face, Daisy's eyebrows lifted in alarm. Last time you said a single plate of refreshments would be enough as long as there were no guests. Or at least I thought that's what you said, my lady. If you prefer, I can ask them to prepare a large serving tray right away. Your dog, after allowing himself to be petted for a while, devouring the biscuit Daisy accidentally dropped on the floor, quickly moves away from you and heads to the burning fireplace. You shake yourself as if arousing from sleep. The letters, petting the dog, Daisy's arrival with the tray. It's all emerging in your mind as nothing more than links in a chain of routine, a circle that repeats without the needs from my request. No, Daisy, thank you for doing exactly as I asked. But what about the moment of forgetfulness? It feels as though the exhaustion in your body is seeping into your mind. You push the thoughts aside and return to your letters without delay. As Daisy reaves from her earlier nervousness, sets the tray down on the table. Her eyes catch one of the open envelopes. Her effusive voice silences through the quiet ambulance of the small study like a blade. I didn't know you were buying old Lord Oscar. My lady, please forgive my interrupting. I think Oscar's our second love interest. Unfortunately, the word aka our fiance. Unfortunately, the words your pen lacked of romance and passion she likely imagining. You're well aware of how bad it is romanticized Omega and Alpha marriages. I was like, yeah, because it's a megaverse. Or Alphaverse, Megaverse, encouraging them as bonds of perfect compatibility, intense attraction, and unwavering devotion. Yet in reality, these unions, wars for power and status require no such conditions. Still, at this moment, you realize something important about Oscar's letter, something that nearly escaped your notice. The problem lies in the handwriting. The dinner invitation is not written or signed by your fiancé, but by someone else, merely posing as him. Oscar's action is either a gross act of negligence or a blatant display of disrespect, or perhaps both. Taking the letter you wrote to your fiancé in hand, you raised from your chair and approached the fireplace. Just before you let the paper slip into the raising flames, you turned to Daisy. Could you summon Tristan for me? Of course, my lady. As you watch the letter unite with a sharp hiss and crumble into ashes, your thoughts begin to crowd your mind. Filling the silence, Daisy leaves behind as she departs. You're well aware of the communication between you and Oscar has dwindled as the wedding approaches, but you're unsure which of you is more at fault for that. Before the marriage decision was announced to you, the family of being neighbors with Oscar, along with the social ties of belonging to the same circle, should have naturally fostered a smooth, effortless bond between you. At least that's what your guardians had told you. Yet now, you could feel the bond stretch and thin, on the verge of snapping at any moment. And if it does, you have no idea what awaits you on their side. Tristan, the only certainty is that your guardians and your place in society would not approve, and that you must attend the dinner tonight. A firm commanding knock echoes through the small salon, drawing your gaze towards the entrance. There you are. There you see Tristan. You cannot stop the heat from rising to your cheeks. Dependent on the warmth of the fire, at last night's events surface in your mind. Tristan, you have known for 5 years, a man of steady reason and restraint, and reveal a side both unsettling and inviting. It was discerning contrast. Thankfully, you manage to quell the feeling before he approaches. Tristan bows before you with his usual precision, you know his gaze lingering on you with more scrutiny than usual, as though he's assessing whether you're still under the influence of yesterday's concussions. To be fair, you cannot say for certain yourself. You summoned me, my lady? I'm at your service. I hope you're feeling better today than you did yesterday. Your response in a steady voice, motioning towards the writing desk. I am, Tristan, thank you. The letters are ready to be delivered. You may take them from the desk. Before I respond to the letter, I want to hear your thoughts. You catch the way Tristan's golden eyes narrow slightly. Realizing that this will be no different from any of your usual conversations, his gaze shifts swiftly from you to the desk as he moves towards it, prepared to carry out your request. Yet, before rolling over to the scattered envelopes and letters, he hesitates. You have no doubt that Daisy has already informed him what transpired. The letter from your fiancé, your response, the fact that he burned it. The lawyer's letter is in the corner. Tristan bows his head, sheds his pretended hesitation, and approaches your desk, filled with personal condolences, encouraged by the approval. Still, for a fleeting moment, his eyes drift elsewhere, somewhere other than the lawyer's letter, to the fireplace, but that moment passes quickly. The issues in the letter seems to be more serious than stated, my lady. If I may offer my humble opinion, it would be wise to send a trusted person to assess the situation before granting the lawyer the approval he seeks. His ever-calm voice makes it easy to trust him without question. After all, in 5 years, you have never encountered a reason not to. Not even last night, change the fact that he remained a liable butler. A liable butler, though his methods were surprising. You may handle it as you see fit, Tristan, but I believe it must be done swiftly. I'll go to town this afternoon and take care of the necessary clearances, my lady. There's no need for concern. I will speak with a few hunters from the village regarding the wolf problem in the forest. And I have already given the kitchen staff proper instructions regarding your dog's diet. I do not believe we encountered that issue again. Oh, that was what he did last night. If there's anything else you require, my lady, you need only say the word. In the silence that follows, the swift rhythmic braving of snow, dozing in the fireplace, fills the room. It is clear that with all the tasks, Tristan will not be able to accompany you to Red Heart Manor tonight. Though you're not accustomed to traveling alone, the mutual dissatisfaction between your fiancé and your butler makes Tristan's absence more appropriate choice for the dinner. After a brief hesitation, you make your decision. Have the coachman prepare for the evening. Tristan, I will be attending dinner at Red Heart Manor. For a fleeting moment, something like surprise flashes through Tristan's golden eyes, expression you're not used to seeing from him. His voice remains composed, unnerving. Forgive me, lady. Do you mean this evening? I did. Please see to your task. I will go alone. You know that Tristan cannot pass the matter outright, and he takes another approach. My lady, forgive my imprudence, but with the recent heavy snowfall, I have concerns about whether the road to Red Heart Manor is passable for a carriage. Had there been more time, I would have sent someone ahead to inspect it. In this weather, there's a high risk of your carriage getting stuck in the snow or, God forbid, an accident occurring. His words unsettle you. It's like, yeah, accident, air quotes. The thought of the carriage wheel sinking into the unseen ditch, the axles breaking, and the horses panicking and injuring themselves. For someone who does not enjoy travel to begin with, there's no mere inconvenience. They are a nightmare. Especially given your recent exhaustion and the hallucinations. But the dinner is important. You must see your fiancé before the impression they have neglected him takes root. A new day. No matter how long you sleep, you wake up in the same time every morning without exception, and have your breakfast. After all, the rules of the house are so deeply rooted and unshakable that they control even you, the master of the estate. Still, that does not change the fact that you need them. You have no idea how things would function without them. When you leave the dining room, you take your place at the writing desk. The letters you need to respond are already waiting for you. In the winter months, the state and its lands are wrapped in an even deeper silence under the weight of the snow. No sound of the heavy door knocker announcing a visitor, no distant rumble of a carriage wheels passing by. The only connection you have to the outside world are these letters. During this season, there are usually so few that reading them every couple of days and delivering the necessary replies to Tristan before noon is simple and routine responsibility. With the orange letter opener passed down from your father, he slides through the envelopes and glances through each contents with the ease of habit without much thought. Catalogs from boutiques in town. You're certain your wardrobe has undergone enough changes due to the wedding. It's like, wait, but just catalogs. We have Sears catalogs here. Hunting invitations from neighboring states. They want me. They want me with a weapon. I don't think it would be a good idea. You never found fox hunting in the cold to be a enjoyable activity. A note from the material relative offering their regrets for being unable to attend the wedding and sending well wishes. This serves as a final confirmation that none of your material relatives, those not too distant to have received invitations, will be present at the ceremony. Given the distance, their recruits to undertake such a journey in winter is understandable. It's alright. We got our Butler's family, right? Our servicer family. Not that it makes much of a difference to you. You merely fulfilled your duty as expected. As a brief update from your lawyer, weighing your instructions regarding a few minor issues relating to the properties. That you can easily leave to Tristan. And a dinner invitation dated today from Red Heart Manor. Like, just dated today. We forgot to respond to it. The Red Heart Manor belongs to your closest neighbors, your fiancé and his family. For the past few months, you have politely declined every invitation you received, citing poor health due to the reason. For a moment, you considered doing the same with this one. After all, the letter states that it's merely a small, intimate dinner. Ink spills from the tip of your pen onto the paper, forming a series of well-rehearsed words, apologies, and their refusal. Just as you're about to finish your letter, you hear a knock on the door and lift your head. Come in. Okay, it's our doggo. Or, I swear it's probably a wolf. Contrary to your expectations, it's not the butler who enters, but your maid, carrying a silver tray followed closely by Snow, who dashes into the room. I brought you tea and some refreshments, my lady. You tried to recall when you made such a request. Probably Tristan. Yet, as you attempt to remember, even the moment before grows hazy in your mind, and you forget why you were writing the letter in front of you in the first place. Seeing the merriment in your face, Daisy's eyebrows lifted in alarm. Last time you said a single plate of refreshments would be enough as long as there were no guests. Or at least I thought that's what you said, my lady. If you prefer, I can ask them to prepare a large serving tray right away. Your dog, after allowing himself to be petted for a while, devouring the biscuit Daisy accidentally dropped on the floor, quickly moves away from you and heads to the burning fireplace. You shake yourself as if rousing from sleep. The letters, petting the dog, Daisy's arrival with the tray. It's all emerging in your mind as nothing more than links in a chain of routine, a circle that repeats without the needs from my request. No, Daisy, thank you for doing exactly as I asked. But what about the moment of forgetfulness? It feels as though the exhaustion in your body is seeping into your mind. You push the thoughts aside and return to your letters without delay. As Daisy reaves from her earlier nervousness, sets the tray down on the table. Her eyes catch one of the open envelopes. Her euphuism voice silences through the quiet ambulance of the small study like a blade. I didn't know you were buying old Lord Oscar. My lady, please forgive my interrupting. I think Oscar's our second love interest. Unfortunately, the word aka our fiance. Unfortunately, the words your pin lacked of romance and passion she likely imagining. You're well aware of how bad it is romanticized Omega and Alpha marriages. I was like, yeah, because it's a megaverse. or Alphaverse, Megaverse, envisioning them as bonds of perfect compatibility, intense attraction, and unwavering devotion. Yet in reality, these unions, forged for power and status, require no such conditions. Still, at this moment, you realize something important about Oscar's letter, something that nearly escaped your notice. The problem lies in the handwriting. The dinner invitation is not written or signed by your fiancé, but by someone else, merely posing as him. Oscar's action is either a gross act of negligence or a blatant display of disrespect, or perhaps both. Taking the letter you wrote to your fiancé in hand, you raised from your chair and approached the fireplace. Just before you let the paper slip into the raising flames, you turned to Daisy. Could you summon Tristan for me? Of course, my lady. As you watch the letter unite with a sharp hiss and crumble into ashes, your thoughts begin to crowd your mind. Filling the silence, Daisy leaves behind as she departs. You're well aware of the communication between you and Oscar has dwindled as the wedding approaches, but you're unsure which of you is more at fault for that. Before the marriage decision was announced to you, the family of being neighbors with Oscar, along with the social ties of belonging to the same circle, should have naturally fostered a smooth, effortless bond between you. At least that's what your guardians had told you. Yet now, you could feel the bond stretch and thin, on the verge of snapping at any moment. And if it does, you have no idea what awaits you on their side. Tristan, the only certainty is that your guardians and your place in society would not approve, and that you must attend the dinner tonight. A firm commanding knock echoes through the small salon, drawing your gaze towards the entrance. There you are. There you see Tristan. You cannot stop the heat from rising to your cheeks. Dependent on the warmth of the fire, last night's events surface in your mind. Tristan, you have known for 5 years, a man of steady reason and restraint, and reveal a side both unsettling and inviting. It was discerning contrast. Thankfully, you manage to quell the feeling before he approaches. Tristan bows before you with his usual precision, and his gaze lingering on you with more scrutiny than usual, as though he's assessing whether you're still under the influence of yesterday's concussions. To be fair, you cannot say for certain yourself. You summoned me, my lady? I'm at your service. I hope you're feeling better today than you did yesterday. Your response in a steady voice, motioning towards the writing desk. I am, Tristan, thank you. The letters are ready to be delivered. You may take them from the desk. Before I can respond to the letter, I want to hear your thoughts. You catch the way Tristan's golden eyes narrow slightly. Realizing that this will be no different from any of your usual conversations, his gaze shifts swiftly from you to the desk as he moves towards it, prepared to carry out your request. Yet, before rolling over to scatter the scattered envelopes and letters, he hesitates. You have no doubt that Daisy has already informed him what transpired. The letter from your fiancé, your response, the fact that he burned it. The lawyer's letter is in the corner. Tristan bows his head, sheds his pretended hesitation, and approaches your desk, filled with personal condolences, encouraged by the approval. Still, for a fleeting moment, his eyes drift elsewhere, somewhere other than the lawyer's letter, to the fireplace, but that moment passes quickly. The issues in the letter seems to be more serious than stated, my lady. If I may offer my humble opinion, it would be wise to send a trusted person to assess the situation before granting the lawyer the approval he seeks. His ever-calm voice makes it easy to trust him without question. After all, in 5 years, you have never encountered a reason not to. Not even last night changed the fact that he remained a liable butler. A liable butler, though his methods were surprising. You may handle it as you see fit, Tristan, but I believe it must be done swiftly. I'll go to town this afternoon and take care of the necessary clearances, my lady. There's no need for concern. I will speak with a few hunters from the village regarding the wolf problem in the forest. And I have already given the kitchen staff proper instructions regarding your dog's diet. I do not believe we encountered that issue again. Oh, that was what he did last night. If there's anything else you require, my lady, you need only say the word. In the silence that follows, the swift rhythmic braving of snow, dozing in the fireplace, fills the room. It is clear that with all the tasks, Tristan will not be able to accompany you to Red Heart Manor tonight. Though you're not accustomed to traveling alone, the mutual dissatisfaction between your fiancé and your butler makes Tristan's absence more appropriate choice for the dinner. After a brief hesitation, you make your decision. Have the coachman prepare for the evening. Tristan, I will be attending dinner at Red Heart Manor. For a fleeting moment, something like surprise flashes through Tristan's golden eyes, expression you're not used to seeing from him. His voice remains composed, unnerving. Forgive me, lady. Do you mean this evening? I did. Please see to your task. I will go alone. You know that Tristan cannot pass the matter outright, and he takes another approach. My lady, forgive my imprudence, but with the recent heavy snowfall, I have concerns about whether the road to Red Heart Manor is passable for a carriage. Had there been more time, I would have sent someone ahead to inspect it. In this weather, there's a high risk of your carriage getting stuck in the snow or, God forbid, an accident occurring. His words unsettle you. It's like, yeah, accident, air quotes. The thought of the carriage wheel sinking into the unseen ditch, the axles breaking, and the horses panicking and injuring themselves. For someone who does not enjoy travel to begin with, there's no mere inconvenience. They are a nightmare, especially given your recent exhaustion and the hallucinations. But the dinner is important. You must see your fiancé before the impression they have neglected him takes root. It would be best to turn back before it gets too late. The young man dips his head in acknowledgement, and you sense that he too is relieved. You can't blame him. The journey has been nothing more than a treacherous scramble, and neither of you can predict what lies ahead. As you wish, my lady. I'll inform the coachman at once. The door shut, sealing you once more into the confined warmth of the carriage. The closed space provides a sense of comfort, if only temporary. Though a thought tugs at your mind, you never sent word to your fiancé about missing dinner. Yet you easily push aside the concern, knowing you made the right decision. The shadow in the forest had undoubtedly influenced your decision. Whether it's poacher, predator, or mere trick of the light, the carriage jolts the horses as it urged to turn back. The motion is rough, though brief, you hardly pay any mind. You just want to go home. Daisy will undoubtedly be disappointed by your early return. She'll surely make it known for quite some time. But the thought of home fills you with quiet relief. A flicker of impulse urges you to part the occurrence once more. And then a figure, a stark silhouette against the pristine snow. It does not vanish this time, it lingers. Okay, I actually don't see it this time. Oh wait, yes, I do. A doubt of reality dissolves as your heart hammers in your chest. It's Tristan going, yes, you're listening to me. Then it moves, and it's horrifying. In a horrifying instant, it charges towards you. And your lips part in terror, but no sound escapes. You're too late to cry out, too late to warn the others. The distance between you disappears in a blink of eye. A monstrous gun growl fills your ears. This isn't the first time you heard it. Remember the sound and terror that came with it. Darkness, damp, suffocating cold. But where? When? The memory is too fragmented to place. You tightly shut your eyes to avoid witnessing the dreadful moment. The carriage thunders violently under unnatural force, your body thrown against the other side of the carriage as the horses scream in fear. It's a werewolf. The coachman curses carelessly, but no matter the skill, can steady the panic beast. A second impact. Wood splintering, and this time the sharp clack of gunfire is followed by something far more sickening and brittle. Snap of body collides with the carriage frame. Before you can understand what's happening, pain blooms for your lips. And then nothing. You wake up to a world that offers no answers. And like the others, you somehow survive, but how? The doctors determined from your injuries, the fractures, the scars, that it must have been an animal attack. Horses spooked beyond control must have lost their footing on the icy roads leading to the issue. You struggled to believe them because you saw it. You know it was more than a wild animal. It was a werewolf. Yet, if you are willing to listen, even Tristan, who found you by chance while traveling the same road back from town, does not entertain your suspicions. I still have a feeling that it might be him. But that's not your only problem. The doctors are certain you'll never walk again. A single foolish decision has cost 2 innocent lives, and your legs. And no matter regret will change that. But at this time, you know what must be done. During his last visit to the state, you tell your fiancé the truth. This marriage will only be a burden to you, Oscar. I have no right to ask you this. You're free of your promise. His smile is light, but his gaze is razor sharp. How thoughtful of you, my dear. I came here to tell you the same thing. Isn't it wonderful how we can agree without speaking? You're a butt. And at the very least, I will always remember you fondly. And every time I hunt, I shall send you the finest catch. The most exquisite, the most untouched. His gaze settles deliberately on your neck, on the scar left by the predator. Every time you recall it, your skin prickles. Unless he's the werewolf. It's a miracle you survived the creature at the stake. If only you truly survived it at all. Ending 3, your wedding is cancelled. No matter how much we have to slow down, we'll keep going. Your words caused the young man's eyes to cloud with unease, but merely lowers his head, slightly unable to oppose you. As you command, my lady. I'll inform the coachman immediately. As the door closes, the narrow, enclosed space of the carriage fills you with ease of safety and warmth, offering you some comfort. But you know it won't last forever. With the nightfall and dropping temperatures, and growing fatigue will make the journey increasingly difficult. And yet, thinking of Oscar's indifference and mocking nature, you doubt he sees much significance in this trip. As you just You're just about to tell the coachman to turn back when, despite not having to travel too far, the carriage suddenly watches forward with alarming speed. It only takes a moment for you to realize this isn't the coachman's doing. You're sliding on ice. Falling off balance, you instinctively reach for something to hold onto, but it's useless. You fall into the carriage floor. Unfortunately, the thick pile of blankets cushioning your landing spares you from serious harm. At the same time, the horses come to a abrupt halt, managing to stop the carriage. Your heart pounds so violently that the sound roars to your ears, nearly drowning on the noise of the carriage door opening. My lady! I'm fine. Rudolph exhales in relief as he realizes you're unharmed, merely tangled in thick blankets, with his help, you stand up and step out of the tilted carriage. Though your breath fogs your vision, it doesn't take long to grasp the situation. The carriage has veered off the road, crashing through trees, and the horses are now buried up to their bodies in snow-covered fog. The wave of regret burns through you like fire. With others to assess the situation, you remain silent, merely listening. We should go find help. Don't be ridiculous. By the time help arrives, the horses will be dead. Shep, and help me. With Rudolph's assistance, the coachman manages to unfasten the horses from the harnesses and strain the carriage. But saving the horses will take far more effort. Standing at the roadside, watching them struggle, you could feel the weight of their stolen glances, the silent accusations pressing down on you. Hey, you would have died if we turned back too, so... Guilt and unease settling on your shoulders like unbearable burden. You cannot shake the feeling that something worse is coming, that something hidden in the darkness, working behind the trees, is watching you. But you can't point out every shadow that surrounds you. You can't burn them with yet another problem. Helplessly, you retreat into the carriage and wait. Despite the comfort it offers, at this moment, the carriage feels no different than a cage. With no other way to distract yourself, you pick up a book once more, trying to drown out your thoughts. Suddenly, finding yourself in darkness, you find first reaction is confusion, but the weight of the book resting in your lap makes you realize you must have dozed off while reading. After what happened in the bathtub yesterday, you have no idea how you managed to fall asleep so easily outside, in the middle of the forest. We have blankets, right? This time, it feels as if you're merely blinked, yet exhaustion still clings to you. Then, an eerie shiver crawls over your skin, unaware to the cold. Only now do you notice the carriage is still not moving. But the sky is already pitch black. The only sound is the howling of the wind. Your instincts scream at you not to step outside. But what about the silence, the stillness? Summoning your courage, you push the blankets off in trembling hands and creak the carriage door open. Snowflakes drift gently in the air, brushing against your face, but the silence greeting you is far from smoothing. The trees around you, soaking in deep shadows, seem larger, mishapped, distorted. I suppose Rudolph was right. We need to call for help. But you step to the front of the carriage. Your words freeze in the air, just like your breath. The horses stand nearby, harnessed, prepared to depart. Then what are they waiting for? More importantly, where are the others? Well, if we're not whistling, they might be. Oh, God. More importantly, where are the others? Your gaze darts around in growing dread. You know, with absolute certainty, they wouldn't have left you here alone. Which means, if something emerge while you are asleep in the carriage. You try to reassure yourself by recalling Rudolph's words. They have rifles. He told you not to worry. Okay, where are the rifles? They have one I could use. Yeah, a whisper from deep within that tells you that their rifles might be more useful than might not be no more useful than a child's toy. Unless it's called the Colt, and it's a kind of a hand. Unless it's the Colt, that we'd probably, because I think it's a werewolf. The moonshine above spills a cold silver light on the road, making the snow glisten like a path to a fairy tale realm. But something mars this enchanting scene. A stain, a deep crimson stain that unsullies your senses far too much. Lifting your head, you see more than a dozen of them. No, it can't be. It's possible. There must belong to some poor animal. Or coachman or Rudolph. The others must have encountered something urgent, something that required them to leave suddenly. Then it'll be back any moment now. Unless we're not hoozling. Unless we're actually hoozling. Then they're pretty fine. But no matter how hard you try, you cannot bring yourself to believe this hopeful scenario. Your steps instantly urge you back to the safety of the carriage, yet guilt anchors you in place. If only you had been reasonable. If only you had turned back before the accident. If only you had never set out at all. No animal, just an animal. An animal, it just has to be it. Just an animal, it has to be. But no matter what you tell yourself, the truth seeps into your bones like a melting crimson stain, spraying through the snow. Your heart pounds widely, as if it might burst through your ribs. Every fiber of your being screams at you to retreat. Get back inside. Lock the door. Wait. But for how long? Tristan will find you, surely. He always does. But what if something else finds you first? There's no way out. The red trail beckons you deeper into the woods, pulling you forward against your better judgment. Until you see it, a pool of blood beneath a tree trunk. And in its center, a man lying motionless as if RP'd. Even before stepping closer, you know it's Rudolph. Your hands fly to your mouth, trapping the scream that churns into a hard lump in your throat. No. I like his design. I was asleep at the entire time. God, please. Now he's gone. If it's not a hallucination. Despite the burning in your lungs for uneven breaths, despite the sharp edge twisting through your muscles, you desperately want to believe that's just not real. A hallucination, maybe, like yesterday. If we're going like this, it's not. No matter how much times you blink, the scene before you does not change. Then you notice it, the weak rise and fall of his chest. He's still breathing. Okay, save him. Rudolph! How could he still be alive after losing so much blood? Magic. At the moment, the sound of snapping branches reaches your ears. A shadow emerges suddenly, amongst the trees like a ghost. It moves so fast, they have no chance to scream or run. You're completely trapped. As your body is no longer under your control, your legs suddenly refuse to support you, and you collapse onto your knees. Like prey ready to be hunted, you should have never come to this forest. The only thing still under your control is your mouth. You manage to move your lips. No, you can't eat me. I'm not food. As the shadow draws closer, its terrifying bulk shrinks down to human proportions. Oh, he's definitely a werewolf. And the eerie silence of the forest is broken by a powerful, angelic laugh. I'm sure you're not food, my dear. At the very least, I'll take a well-seasoned bison steak over you. You got my hopes up for nothing. Oh, he definitely... I think he is a werewolf. Or a vampire. A moment later, the shadow becomes clear. His jacket, the orange hunting rifle in his hand, the blood-red gleam in his hair, in the darkness, and a sharp cut of his jawline. All the details that make him Oscar, your fiance. And kinda handsome, and very handsome. I don't know, I'd probably go for him first. And then Tristan. Unlike the last time you saw him, surrounded by luxury and grandeur at lavish gathering, now you find him standing in the cold, dark depths of the forest. Well, it's night out. Hunting. Sir, how can you see in the dark? For a moment, your mind struggles to comprehend it. You even fear that he might be a hallucination. And yet, despite the rising tide of fear within you, there's an odd sense of relief that cuts through it. A moment later, your voice returns. Oscar, please help me. There's something in the forest following me. I felt like I'm being watched since the beginning of my journey, but I thought I was imagining things. But it's already attacked Rudolph. Look at him. He's laying here covered in blood. It should come back at any moment. As Oscar's long hunting boots crunch through the snow, you lift your gaze to him. Yet despite everything you just said, he doesn't seem concerned at all. Instead, under the moonlight, his smirk becomes even more pronounced. Yeah, there's something. There's definitely something up with him. My dear, I can understand why you're so excited to see me. But I have no idea what nonsense you're spouting. Just one of them has to be a werewolf and one has to be a vampire, right? Just joking. That's why they hate her. If you're done with your greetings, get up already. All jokes aside, still kind of odd for him to be hunting in the night. You hesitate for a moment before taking his outstretched hand. There's no other choice. Oscar pulls you up with force stronger than you expected. Now you're standing closer, and you can get a better look at his face, especially his eyes. Despite the nonchalance in his voice, you realize he's carefully studying you. Good, you didn't hit your head anywhere. For a second, you almost had me worried. You try to calm yourself, but your voice still comes out fast and frantic. Oscar, can you listen to me? I'm serious. Look at Rudolph, You stop mid-sentence as your eyes fall into Rudolph, realizing something horrifying. The pool blood surrounding him is gone, and it had evaporated into the air, just like what happened in the cemetery and the bathroom, but he's still breathing. Oscar, knowing your silence, crushes beside a man laying in the snow. Rudolph? I was sure his name was something like ridiculous, like Tristan. That's not the same person. Whatever. Crap, he's not dead. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna save him, right? I thought you had finally decided to get rid of him, brought him to my estate to bury him. Okay. I do like his reactions. Like I planned the demise of my butler and came to bury him in your yard. He's like a ride and die person. Definitely. Your mind comes to comprehend the complete halt. You don't know what to think anymore. The only thing you're certain is that Rudolph is your priority. Please stop joking and help me figure out what's wrong with him. Do I look like a doctor to you, darling? No, but you look like you have more muscle to me. Despite his tone, Oscar sets his rifle aside and checks Rudolph's pulse before turning him onto his side and examining him. It doesn't take him long to realize the man's not your butler. He's like, oh, Attacked the wrong person. Oh, another white-haired man? Your prefaces truly have me speechless, dear. He thinks I just have a preference for white-haired man. Looks like he's just passed out, though he stays like this much longer. He'll freeze to death. Yeah, pick him up. Carry him to your estate, mister. Even though your mind is full of questions, Oscar's words bring a small relief in the middle of this wretched journey. Are you going to speak up? My carriage is nearby. We could carry him there. For a brief moment, the mockery in Oscar's eyes dims. My dear, may I remind you, I'm your fiancé, not your servant. Okay, I'll pick him up. You're gonna just watch me struggle. You must be confusing me with someone else. I'm gonna go with, step aside and let me do it. Your definite tone makes his eyes glimmer, and soon enough, you hear the amusement in his voice. Oh really? Please go ahead there. I can't wait to see how you manage to carry him all on your own. Gets his feet and starts dragging him. Poor thing, I already feel bad for him. You should have known that a remark like this wouldn't faze him. Still determined to stand on your ground, ignore him, and kneel beside Rudolph. Sweating and struggling, you manage to lift him up slightly by the arm. But before you can do more, Oscar's hand cuts in sharply. Leave him. I have no interest in dealing with two corpses in the middle of the forest. I'm gonna get a spray bottle and spray you, Oscar. Without another word, he retrieves the rifle he had placed on the ground and takes a few steps away from you. A sudden flash of fires in darkness, followed by a deafening crack of gunfire. It doesn't take much to rise. He just fired a shot to signal his location. Soon, the shadows surrounding you stir, followed by the sound of approaching voices. Did you get it, Oscar? Was it a big deer? Want to see for yourself? It's Ryan right there. Okay, I take it back. I'll take Tristan. At the first shadow emerges from the moonlight. Okay, he's actually human. You recognize the man's face from the ravish parties you attended, but now in the forest gloom, he looks vastly different. His features are tense with urgency. Bloody heck! Did you shoot a man? Oh wait, I can do it in British. Bloody hell! Did you it's not really a curse word here. Bloody hell! Did you shoot a man? I need it's like a British slang. I need help getting rid of the body. He's alive, sir. The tense silence lasts only for a moment before Oscar's lips curl up in the center twisted smirk. You're too easy to fool, you know. It's not even fun anymore. As Oscar's hunting parties reach you, you finally learn where your missing coachman has been. One of the approaching figures steps forward, his outline illuminated by the lantern's glow, and you recognize him instantly. The coachman was been hunting? Okay, you're fired now. By the time we got the horses free, it was already too dark. Continuing on would have been too dangerous. When I heard the gunshot, I thought Lord Oscar might be out hunting. Since Rudolph wasn't familiar with Lord Oscar's men, I went to ask for help. He insisted he wouldn't leave your side. I can't understand how he could be so reckless. Since Rudolph remains unconscious, there is no way to get an answer. As you make your way to the carriage, the glow of lanterns held by Oscar's men fail to reveal any trace of red stains that led you to Rudolph. Instead of easing your fear, it only makes it worse. This makes it worse. If this was all in your head, Then how did you manage to find Rudolph when there was no single trace of him left behind? Something's helping us. And why is the carriage door open? Did you forget to close it? Did the wound blew open? Or had the shadow been there? Had it looked inside to find you? A fresh wave of fear washes over you. Even now, you still feel they've been watched. You're being watched. As long as you remain in the forest, you doubt you'll ever be free of that feeling. Even as a child, a single glance at the woods beyond your bedroom window had been enough to send chills down your spine. Now you vow to keep the curtains tightly shut on every every future journey. Once inside the carriage, your gaze drifts to Rudolph, balled up in thick blankets and fast asleep in the corner. You can't but recall the vivid crimson still warm blood. It's like to be able to date Oscar. I mean, we can't date Rudolph right here. From outside, you hear Oscar's deep voice carrying through the hushed whispers of his hunting party. Edgar, show the coachman the shortcut to the estate. Let the poor horses catch their breath. This little rescue mission has exhausted me. I'll be riding inside the carriage with my future spouse. Is he gonna get mad because I bundled Rudolph right here? Without delay, the carriage door swings open, lying in the cold night air. As Oscar steps inside, the crimson of his hair and clothes unsettles you, but you try to ignore it. Of course, you already know he will bypass Rudolph entirely and sit beside you. Bracing yourself for discomfort, you inch so close to the window as possible, hoping to put as much space between you and as narrow sea allows. And he just gets closer. Oscar knows your subtle retreat. Despite settling into his seat with his usual nonchalance, he does not close the distance. A rare courtesy, or perhaps a subtle confirmation that the distance has grown between you lately. As the carriage launches forward, again, you close your eyes, allowing the rest of your cursed journey to pass quickly. And then, the rustle of the fruit basket, a sharp crunch, and Oscar has found an apple. Wasted no time to bite into it. That just reminded me, what was it? Everything wrong, like the everything wrong with blank on YouTube. Bite into apple makes you basically a butthole. And then, particularly his voice, never relenting, feels the courage once more. He must have forgotten that his mouth never ceased to work. What a comfortable little carriage! You have blankets, a well-stocked fruit basket, and even more ridiculous book about necromancy. What am I planning? Though, personally, I would prefer not a more thrilling and presentable pastime. Really? Wait, did his eyes... Yeah, his eyes change. Your eyes snap open. Sharp and warning. Oscar meets your gaze with an expression of innocent and could almost pass for sincere. I only meant a conversation, of course. No, of course not. You meant something completely different. For instance, you still haven't told me what you're doing on my land so late at night, my dear. A part of you concealed that, given his aid to the situation, a little gratitude might be a warrant. I'm sure you would have figured that out. I was on my way to Red Heart Manor for your dinner invitation. For the first time, true surprise flickers across Oscar's face. I didn't recall inviting you to dinner. In fact, I don't recall hosting a dinner at all. Well, I probably burned evidence, so... Just a quiet meal with a few relatives and friends, as usual. Now it's your turn to be caught off guard. Well, it was a different handwriting, right? I didn't know that. I received a letter bearing your family seal, written and signed by you. Of course, you're completely skipped over the part where the handwriting doesn't match his. The realization that the entire journey may have been for nothing growls at you. You fix your gaze on him, waiting for a reaction. But Oscar merely takes another bite of his apple, which is technically our apple because it was our fruit basket. Then, without any ounce of shame, tosses the half-eaten fruit back into the basket. His indifference returns like a well-worn mask. Okay, he is a butthole. Must have been the steward. Which means my mother told him to. You know how the old woman is half the time, even if I don't make sense of what she's up to. Oh, Deanna. Oscar, if I mispronounce that name, that's the one name I always mispronounce no matter what. I did a manager off because I mispronounced her name a lot. As verbal alpha on her own right, the true rule her friend had met her in its lands, though you know that Oscar has taken full control due to her declined health. How long that will last remains uncertain. Naturally, as devoted fiance, I would never subject my delicate and ailing patrol to such exhausting journey had I known. Yet this devoted fiance never thought to check on my well-being himself, despite hearing I was unwell. It's just a seasonal matter, nothing more to be concerned about. Despite his exaggerated belief, the look in his eyes tells you he doesn't believe a word of it. Oh, you have no idea how comfortable that is to hear. And you do look perfectly fine now, my dear. Still, as concerned fiance, I could never allow you, or your men, to set out on our journey tonight. But look, we're arrived. With force, Oscar pulls back the curtain. Perched atop this steep hillside, Red Heart Manor looms against the night sky, its dark silhouette, sawing the light from the carriage lanterns. The sight leaves you momentarily stunned. How have you arrived so soon? Any lingering doubt about Oscar's so-called shortcut vanishes. We could have took a shortcut the entire time. After I like his house better. Design better. Welcome, my dear. Welcome to Red Heart. At long last, your journey is ended, and yet, still deep inside, you can't shake the question. How will the night pass? To be continued. And that was The Winter Wedding. If you like my content, please subscribe, like, help out, and comment down below. See you guys next time.